Guess what he's doing now at a very young age, early 20s? HRT, and what do you think? For the rest of his life. And so let's discover what exactly is Oliver Forslin hiding from us. Coach Greg, and how many examples do I need to show you this of why you should not abuse anabolic steroids? The latest victim, Oliver Forslin. Guy has over 700,000 followers on Instagram, extremely good looking, very young in his early 20s, and even without performance enhancing drugs, the guy looked incredible. He absolutely did not need them, but decided to abuse performance enhancing drugs, and not just a little bit, a lot. Guy was blasting test, trend, you name it, he did everything. And what were the results? Well, he put on a ton of muscle, about 30 pounds. But at what cost? Not only did he have severe acne, but also he expresses in his last post on Instagram just how bad it was for his mental health. And since that time, he's decided to go off. But guess what he's doing now at a very young age, early 20s? HRT, and what do you think? For the rest of his life. And so let's discover what exactly is Oliver Forslin hiding from us. Me now on TRT and happiness versus last year trend and depression. And so despite the fact that he's lost 30 pounds of muscle, he's no longer depressed. He's actually happy now. In comparison with all that muscle, with the shredded physique, the physique that perhaps many of you are dreaming of, he felt like garbage. Many people think if I only had that dream physique, if I use steroids, I can get there, and then I'll be happy. For Oliver Forslin, it did the exact opposite. It made him depressed. Be careful. Obviously, it was like 30 pounds of muscle bigger back then, but not worth anything unless you're happy. And so what do I have to say or do to get this through you, to really understand this? Muscles don't make you happy. The exterior shell that you're walking around it, the one that people see, that does not decide your self-worth. What's on the inside, how you feel about yourself, that decides it. You could have no muscle whatsoever, perhaps be morbidly obese, and love yourself more than the 10 on 10 guy with the most muscle in the world, perhaps the Mr. Olympia champion or the Miss Bikini champion. Just because you look beautiful, you look amazing, everyone thinks you're perfect, doesn't mean you feel that way on the inside. The muscles, they just cover up, they disguise how you're actually feeling. And that is exactly what happened to Oliver Forslin. He had to one day wake up, smell the coffee, and decide, is it worth it? Why am I doing this? Why am I abusing all these performance-enhancing drugs, which will most likely shorten my life? And for what? For 30 pounds of muscle? Do I actually like myself more with 30 more pounds than I did without? Of course not. How is it better? A lot of people commenting, look at the acne. You've aged. You don't look as good. And so just because the biceps are an extra inch or two bigger, does that actually make you look better? Sometimes less is more. Does anyone think that Chris Bumstead now at 27 looks significantly better? That he has a much better physique than when he was 21? I don't think so. I would argue that more people like Chris Bumstead's physique in his first Mr. Olympia when he didn't even win than he did in his last 4 when he came out on top. More muscle is not required, and no, leaner is not better. You don't need single-digit body fat to look attractive to the opposite sex. And so you're abusing all these drugs, test, trend, and so on to put on all that muscle. And then you're abusing all these cutting drugs. Perhaps it's clenbuterol, T3, thyroid medications, perhaps even DNP. All for what? To get shredded? For who? Who wants someone to have 4% body fat? Yeah, it looks cool, but is that what's actually physically attractive? And can you in fact maintain that year round? Look at Jesse James, went from 13% body fat to approaching 6%. Did you see the struggles that he had to go through? Guy did it 100% natural, but Oliver Forslin did it with performance-enhancing drugs. Seems Oliver had it even worse. Drugs don't make it easy, it makes it different. You get even leaner, you get even bigger, but you suffer just as much, and if not more. The mental health when you're abusing performance-enhancing drugs, it can throw off your chemistry, your balance of hormones. And what can that result in? Mental health problems. Some people, they actually don't even want to live. They don't want to be alive. And so before you decide to take anything, please think about it. Do your research. Look at all the others who have gone through and done the same thing and are warning you against it. Go out there, get some sun, train harder than last time, and eat clean. But don't go too far and put your mental health on the line. And so Oliver is saying, look, There's nothing wrong with going to the gym, training harder than last time, eating clean, and going for an amazing physique. But don't go too far. And by too far, he means to abuse performance-enhancing drugs. The result of his abuse is TRT for the rest of his life. Remember, if he goes off TRT, his testosterone levels are going to plummet. He feels good right now. He's happy right now. But he's on HRT. He's on testosterone. And I reached out to him. I said, can you show us your blood work? What is your doses? What are you taking? How much do you need? As of yet, he has not told me what he's been taking. And so do we know it's actually HRT? How do we know it's not 250 milligrams? We don't know. I take 140 milligrams a week, 100 milligrams every 5 days. Perhaps he's on a lot more. Perhaps his testosterone levels are still above the reference range. Could he in fact be still impacting his health? We don't know if his cholesterol is good. Even on HRT levels, especially in higher doses, you can in fact have problems. Your HDL could be too low, LDL too high. You might in fact be damaging your heart. You just don't know. I'm happy for Oliver. Looks like he took care of his skin issues and is now moving forward and finding success. But TRT already? Cookbook, that's rough. He probably didn't need it, just chose to take that path. Nothing final. And so the problem is, in my opinion, he's far too young to have to use HRT. Why didn't he simply taper off, go on a PCT, a post-cycle therapy? It could have involved HCG, perhaps combined with Nova and or Clomid, and cycled off the testosterone, as the guy is very young in his early 20s, and perhaps his testosterone could have slowly came back to normal. But most people, especially in today's day and age, they can't handle that much loss of muscle. We know he's already stated he's down 30 pounds. That's with HRT. Imagine if he went off everything. Perhaps he'd be down 40, maybe 50 pounds of muscle. And so one problem is, once you take steroids and you feel like Superman, perhaps you look like him as well. Once you go off of those steroids, you're not keeping all those gains. You're going to lose the size, lose the strength, and you're going to feel miserable. You perhaps might have a problem with the downstairs. Of course, we have harder than last time for the downstairs. Click the link in the bio, 10% off, code Greg. But what's important to remember is once you take something, it's going to be very difficult to stop. And so I fully believe the reason he's on HRT is he couldn't sustain mentally or physically the fact that he was losing all that muscle. The HRT is giving him enough testosterone to allow him to maintain this much muscle. Mentally, I don't know if he could handle losing any more. And with all the deaths we've seen as of late from professional bodybuilders, social media influencers, please think twice before taking anything. Looking for a product to boost your testosterone naturally that's actually safe? G-test. Why would you resort to taking steroids, especially when you're young? He was way too young to start taking testosterone. And of course, my #1 selling supplement, mostly for cardio, for fat loss, to give you more energy, GO2 Max. You all know about this. It contains NMN. That is a must-have supplement. Go to my website, click the link in the description, and use code Greg to save 10% off. And don't forget about Cookbook 3.0. As you can see, hard copy. It comes as a PDF, and the Circle Diet book, and all the other books at various price points, including the training books and everything at my company. We have Harder Than Last Time clothing line, the hoodies, jogging pants, t-shirt, sweaters, tank tops, everything's there. And if you have no money at all, you go to the website anyway, because for free, you get up to a 50-page diet and training program. You simply enter your first and last name and email address, and voila, it comes right to your door. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, to watch at least one of those 2 boops. And until next time, I am out.